And good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughan for Sam Sports Report. Mizzou took a 17-point lead at 34-17. The Tigers cruised to a win of 83-67. Tamar Bates for the Tigers led them with 20. 4 scorers scored over 10. Mizzou in the easy win. Mizzou is 12-3 overall and 1-1 in conference play. Oklahoma State beats Kansas State easily after leading 43-24. The Oklahoma State winds up winning by 17. The Cats dropped to 7-7 and 1-2 in conference play. Kansas will play Arizona State, looking to rebound after a loss of home last week. Players to watch out for: Hunter Dickerson, Zeke Mayo, DeJuan Harrison, KJ Adams. Tip is tonight at 8. I've been Johson going to the Bears. Let's listen into why Dan Orlovsky says he does not think that will work.
If I were the Bears, I would be interviewing Mike Vrabel or Aaron Glenn.
And not even Ben Johson?
I don't think Ben Johnson's a great fit there. I've said this. I think, one, that's one of those cities that you have to play a certain brand of ball. And you just, the identity of it has to be a mauling philosophy.
What if you just got to win, Dan?
No, I agree. But, like, you know what I'm saying? And, like, Ben Johson, I think the thing that, at least my perspective is, the reason it's so perfect with Jared Goff is this is a rhythm-based offense. He's a rhythm-based quarterback. Yeah. Everything is about a metronome. Bang, 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 bang. That's not Caleb. Now, could Caleb get there? For sure. But we don't know if Ben Johson can develop a quarterback. He got Jared 5 or 6 years into his career. I just don't think it's the perfect marriage schematically.
So the only thing that scares me is what sort of human he is at the position, right? When you have a person like Dan Campbell that's such a strong personality, you never need to set the tone of your room. He sets the tone of every single room in that building. The thing that Sean McVay could do was when he took over for Jeff Fisher, he could set the tone in the room.
Like this.
We've seen the same thing with Kevin O'Connell. Are they great play callers? Yes.
That's a great
but they're
point.
great people that
those guys are unicorns.
It lays more in the vein of a Dan Quinn hire in Washington.
Yeah.
Like, because we all would
run the organization.
And we all
got
would have
Cliff.
screened, get the OC for the young quarterback. But sometimes you got to deviate and let that side be that side and have a guy that can run the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put a pin in this and get y'all's thoughts a little bit more in a moment. But Adam, I want to bring more from you about what the Bears' plans are at this point with their hiring process.
Well, Laura, you're starting to hear about some teams coming forth with their intentions about who they are interested in talking about. We talked about the fact that they've requested an interview with the Cowboys head coach, current head coach, Mike McCarthy. They've reached out to speak with Ben Johson, the Lions offensive coordinator. They also put in 2 other notable requests today. One to interview the Vikings defensive coordinator, Brian Flores. Another to interview the Steelers offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith. And again, this gives you an idea into how some of these teams are thinking. Both Brian Flores and Arthur Smith have been head coaches before. Clearly, that seems to be something that the Bears are looking for here, considering that they've reached out to Mike McCarthy and Arthur Smith and Brian Flores, men who have done that job before. Now, Ben Johnson's credentials are so highly thought of that clearly he's in a different category, but they obviously are valuing experience as they seek their next head coach to hire to coach up Caleb Williams.
Yeah, that's interesting. Common denominator there, certainly, Adam.
Hire somebody too soon. Let's look at the coaching positions. We have done it for the Bears, looking at hiring Ben Johson on our pool. Bears interviewing Mike McCarthy, but that was denied. So let's look at the coaching positions for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have Ben Johson, or I have Joe Brady already going to the Jets as offensive coordinator, and I have, of course, Ben Johson. So now we get to the Jets, and I'll have the Raiders later. As head coach, Tampa Bay's Liam Cohen is up for that job. Philadelphia's Kellen Moore is some guys fitting in for that job. I also included Bob Solowski. He's coach of C.J. Stroud. Brian Flores may be a guy I would want to give him a shot. He's maybe in my top 5. The top 5 candidates that I read into was Kellen Moore, who is a Philadelphia, doing a great job with the offense. Todd Monken would be my second guy. Liam Cohn would be my third guy, but in Jacksonville, you may not be able to get anybody else. That might be my third guy. Outside looking in, Chiefs defensive coordinator just for fun. Steve Spagnuolo, like him. Brian Flores would file into my fifth spot. Cliff Kingsbury was one of the guys looking up there. I feel he has had too many chances to be successful and has failed at some jobs. Arizona, Texas Tech, maybe he needs one more job, but he wouldn't be my guy. I'm going to take Kellen Moore, Philadelphia's offensive coordinator, Eagles offensive coordinator, for the job. Raiders fire head coach Antonio Pierce. That's Sam Vaughan Sports. Let's talk about what teams to win their last national championship as we give a summary of the teams remaining. That's what we'll talk about today on today's podcast, Wednesday, January 8th, 2024. Notre Dame and Penn State will square off. Penn State is looking for their first national championship since 1986. They won in 1982 and 1986 with a very controversial Joe Paterno career. He was a great coach on the field, but perhaps his coaching off the field was not the great coach that made him out to be. The last time Notre Dame won a national championship was 1988. Ohio State, which throttled number one Oregon quality finals. The most recent national championship was with the last title coming in 2014 under
Conterminal
National Championship. I grew up, the reason I don't want Ohio State to win, I grew up rooting for Miami as my second favorite team. Why, I have no idea. But the pass interference call that won Ohio State the game always made me upset. The Sam Vaughan Sports story behind Ohio State. I don't like them. Texas National Championship 2005, I think they've got the best shot at beating Ohio State. I'm not saying they will because I think Ohio State is the best, but I'm rooting for Notre Dame to win it because I don't have a lot of a choice. But I'm rooting for Notre Dame. I can't root for Joe Paterno in a sexual predator school. I can't root for Ohio State because I don't like them. So Notre Dame falls into where I want to fall. And Jerry Sandusky, obviously I can't root for Penn State, just said. And that's Sam Vaughan's college football preview. Playoffs start tomorrow for Notre Dame and Penn State, number 7 seed, number 6 seed. Tip kick is at 7:30 ESPN. And Friday's game, Ohio State, Texas, 7:30 ESPN. That's Sam Vaughan Sports.